We got us a Charlie video. This is employee for 4 days before being noticed. I'm gonna be honest. This was not on a list until 5 minutes ago. Let's get it.
I just saw a crazy story I have to talk about. A woman working at Wells Fargo died at her desk, and her body wasn't discovered for 4 days,
What?
despite co-workers being in the building as well as 24/7 security. It's not like she went to some condemned building all alone like Squidward when he goes to that void place. Like, she was in an occupied space, working, surrounded by other people, and nobody noticed that she had passed away until her body started to rot and decay, and they started to smell it, and then someone became alerted and realized, gee willikers, we have a corpse here. That
Wow.
is baffling to me.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
a perfect illustration for how little these companies care about their workers. Like, they are not...
That's insane. That's insane. You're sitting there for 4 days. No one checked on you to make sure. Like, nobody was actively even supervising enough to notice that you were dead. Like, you're literally a body. You're a fucking body. You're filling a void. You're a space. Holy shit.
your friends. They do not give a fuck about you.
A Tempe Wells Fargo employee died at her desk. And 12 News is now confirming that it may have taken as many as 4 days for anyone in the office to notice.
That's so sad. Now, according to workers, she was in an underpopulated area of the office because a lot of workers for Wells Fargo work remote, but there still were co-workers there as well as 24/7 security, and I imagine there were other higher level like Wells Fargo executives that have to be in the building at least once or twice over the course of 4 days, you would think, to like manage it, and nobody found her. Because I imagine they treat employees just like faceless cogs in the machine and not human beings.
A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudhomme was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play.
I saw a comment that really put things into an interesting perspective. It said, be 5 minutes late to work, get reprimanded, and maybe fired.
Talk about it. Hold on.
Die in your cubicle, and nobody notices. It's...
Exactly. Exactly. If I was 5 minutes late, I would have been cooked. It would have been over for me. I could have been fired. But die at my desk and you don't give a flying... That's what I'm telling y'all, bro. Like, these places don't give a fuck about you. Bro, alright, boom, for instance, COVID, right? COVID. I was considered a, what did they call the people that had a mandatory worker or something like that? Bro, now mind you, I got asthma, you know what I'm saying? I can get sick, it can be over for me, it can be wraps. It didn't matter. Necessary worker, right? It didn't matter, they wanted me still coming into work, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Whatever. Now, they wanted us coming in, so I'm coming in, right? I'm coming in. It's mandatory overtime. Ugh. Mandatory overtime. You gotta do this and that. You know, just a bunch of shit, like essential worker. That's what it was called. Essential worker. Mandatory overtime. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you know what I'm saying, unless you fully have COVID, you gotta come in, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay. We're so essential, matter of fact, we're so essential that we have to hire temps. They hired like 30 to 40 temporary workers, bro. 30 to 40 temps, and then cut everybody's hours. Now, mind you, this is a time mandatory, yes. Mandatory overtime. Like, we had to work over 40 hours a week. And then they went and hired 30 to 40 temps and then cut everybody. I went from it was like an extra day I was working. Or like I would work additional day and then sometimes stay over like an hour or two. So I was getting like 52 hours a week. Fast food? Nah, I was doing like for grocery stores and shit. Like I was at the warehouse. I was working at the warehouse of the grocery stores that ship everything out. So we get everything from like tissue to canned goods and everything, and whatever the store need, they order from us and we ship it out. So I was in the warehouse making sure each store got what they needed. The distribution center, thank you. I couldn't think of it. So with that being said, I went from 50 plus hours a week to 15 hours in a week. And it was like, yeah, this is how it's going to be for the next 4 months. Sorry. Who the fuck is living off 15 hours? What grown person is living off 15 hours? Now, mind you, at that time, I think I was making like $17 or $16 an hour. I'll round up and give myself 17 times 15. 17 times 15. I went from 50 plus hours to making, hold on, how much was it at? 17 times 40, 680, and then 680, 17, times, it'll probably be 52, so, 25.5 times, I had like 12 hours of overtime, so I was making $986 a week, right? From $980 a week, right? That's with overtime and all before taxes. I went from $980 a week to $255 a week. Literally. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to survive off two? It's not like, bro. I was like, who the fuck? And they said it was gonna be like this for 4 months, because what they didn't tell us is they hired those temps. They already paid the temp agencies to have those workers for 4 months. This was prime COVID. This was like March, prime COVID, when everything was shutting down. That's why I quit my job and went hard into YouTube. These niggas don't give a fuck. These niggas don't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, shouts out to all of y'all that can do it and found your passion in working a 9 to 5, but I can't. That poor woman was at a retirement age, watch Wells Fargo go after life insurance. Like, right!
Super upsetting. These employees just numbers on a page for executives to try and exploit, figuring out how to get the most juice for the squeeze for as little amount of money as possible to get the most amount of return on it. It's all about profit. And it doesn't matter if an employee dies at their desk, you don't even notice. And the people working around you also won't notice because they're also part of that machine and too wrapped up in their own personal experience with it.
Exactly.
A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudhomme dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing.
It's so weird to me how if something's off the main aisle, it basically just falls to the fucking back rooms at Wells Fargo, I guess. So if someone's not at like one of the main front and center cubicles, they basically
Here's the thing though, chat. Here's also a thing. What happened to janitors? Listen, buildings like that have janitors, and buildings like that also have security. I know because that's also a job that I had. I used to work security for a benefit company. And you have to do rounds, chat. You literally have to do rounds and check the whole building. Literally, that's what I had to do. I had to do rounds once the building officially closed. Like, yeah, there will always be people there after hours that work there. But the building officially closed at 6 p.m. So I worked from 3 to 11. At 6 p.m., I had to do rounds. And at every hour after that, I had to do rounds. So I had to do rounds at 6 p.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm like, bro, there's no way somebody should have missed that, bro. There's no way somebody should have missed that, bro.
Ceased to exist, I guess. So for 4 days, people walking down this main aisle never saw her cubicle and noticed the body. It reminds me of in Dexter's Laboratory, the back of the bus where that kid was like a gum monster because he was like, you know, glued down to the seat from chewing gum and no one goes to the back of the bus. Like, that's kind of what I picture for this Wells Fargo office now. Oh, well, she wasn't in the main aisle, so what were we supposed to do? Go over there and check? We don't do that. We don't go over there. That's a forsaken realm. That's like a fucking different dimension over in that ballpark.
They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone
So you have security and janitors.
should have found Prudhomme sooner. The incident left several employees feeling scared and uneasy.
I would have quit. 24/7. Yes, that's literally how it's supposed to be. Because that's how my job was when I worked security. I was a 3 to 11 shift. There's somebody that comes and relieves you at your off time, which she worked 11 to 7, if you know what I'm saying. And then there was a person that comes in from 7 to 3. There should be no reason. I would have fucking quit. You mean to tell me that somebody was in here dead for 4 days and y'all didn't give a fuck enough to notice? What is that? Why would I even feel safe here? Why would I even want to be here? You niggas don't give a single fuck. A single fuck.
This employee wants to see new safety protocols in place, telling me, quote, it's negligence in some part.
So a good chunk of the employees
in some part. Fuck.
Employees at that Wells Fargo office do work remote, but not all of them. There were other colleagues there, and of course 24/7 security, as well as like custodial staff and everything, so it was not like an empty building or anything. I am extremely curious to see what protocol changes Wells Fargo might make here. I'm expecting some like really cringy dogshit solution from some out-of-touch Silicon Valley type that just tries ridiculous garbage. Like they might integrate like a jingle. If you're feeling kind of dizzy, if your stomach's feeling shitty, go somewhere else. If your heart starts to pound and you might fall down, go somewhere else. Die off the premises, please. We're begging you. It's bad for our PR, so just die somewhere else, please, instead of in our cubicles. They're not all of a sudden going to start treating their employees like human beings. That's not going to happen. No shot. These fucking elite level zombies that control all this shit, that's never going to happen. There's a higher likelihood that aliens will come down right now and suck my flaccid cock. But I do think they'll do some kind of...
What did he... What? Charlie, what freaky happened? Bro, that was so... Me for real. IG. That was so random. It was so random.
Like, desperate attempt at trying to spin this in a positive way. Like, this was a huge wake-up call for us here. We were all shocked and disgusted by what happened, and we want to make a big change. And that's why we're the first office to require hourly health check-ins, where we send around a healthcare professional to check in on each cubicle to ensure that the employee is still breathing. And they'll just have, like, some dude walk around to each cubicle going, hey, Janet, just making sure, are you still alive? Okay.
Making sure you're still alive is crazy.
All right, great news. Hey, keep up the good work. You're a valuable team member here. We're a family. Don't forget, we're more than a team, we're a fucking family. Fist bump. All right, I'm gonna go check on the
Fist
next.
bump.
A different worker also spoke with 12 News anonymously,
Was just uncomfortable.
again calling on the company to do more.
Body was there about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her and just to say hi, make sure she's okay. She was just laying on her desk.
Just a really sad thought that this woman.
Like, imagine that's how you go, bruh. Just at your desk. And nobody gave a fuck. I ain't gonna lie, I'd haunt everybody in that fucking building. That was my ghost. Oh yeah, it's up for you bitches, bruh. Boo, bitch! You know, bro! Something!
Woman died completely alone. No one in the office going to say hi or anything like that. I don't know about, like, back home, you know, if there was anyone there wondering where she was. You know, it'd been 4 days since she returned home and no one, like, called to check in and see what was going on or where she might be. It's just really upsetting.
A Wells Fargo spokesperson previously sent 12 News a statement saying, in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of our colleague at our Tempe office," adding counselors through our employee assistance consulting service are available to support employees. An employee tells me their direct management offered those services, addressed the incident, and told workers the building was thoroughly cleaned.
We here at Wells Fargo are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of
You think I'm worried about if the motherfucker's clean? I'm worried about a dying in this bitch.
What's her name? It's shaken us to our very core, and we're looking to do more to ensure this doesn't happen again. In the meantime, though, we'll see you at work tomorrow. And if you drop dead, we probably won't notice, so do your best not to do that. We'd hate to go back to back on this. Anyway, though, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. It
That's
just
just
made me
crazy.
sad. Like, it's just a really awful thing to see. And it serves as a rough reminder that corporations really do not care about you.
Yep.
They are not your friends. They are certainly not your
Numbers
family.
on
And
the
they are
paper.
absolutely not looking out for your best interests. They barely know you exist. Unless, of course, you're not performing up to the standards that they want you to, then they notice immediately.
Because, bro, if she was late or she was behind on work or she was just doing something else, you notice then, though, right?
And you will be fucking canned on the spot. But if you actually just die in their office, they have no clue. And that's terrible. It's just bad. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's really about it. So yeah.
Hey, W video, shout out to boy Charlie, man.